Holy mackerel, Brazil are out of the World Cup. One of the favourites, the favourite of the whole tournament, are gone. Croatia, lovely Croatia. It's a good place to go on holiday or live, perhaps, if you're from there. They are now through to the World Cup semi-final. Again, they've beaten Brazil. How have they done it? Let's try and figure out what they did. So first of all, we'll try and look at what both teams did in this game and how it worked out. Because actually, it was very, very even for most of the match. Now what you have is Croatia playing a very defined style. So they have like an excellent back two. Lovren's more of a ball playing centre back. The fullbacks get forward though. You've got wingers like Perisic and Pasalic in this game who are very, very tactically disciplined and help defensively. So when you've got players like Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha running at you, they're going to help their fullbacks. So you're never left 1v1. It's always 2v1. That's very, very important. Up front, Kramaric, he's all right. It's fine. And what you get when you attack is they don't send very many players forward. They try and do it with very much a controlled build-up. So they try and build through the lines very slowly and patiently. But the absolute key is this midfield three of Kovacic, Brozovic and Modric. These guys are amazing. Brilliant on the ball, brilliant in possession, lots of short passes, always help each other out. They play as though they're attached by string, so whenever they move somewhere, that string just stretches out a little bit, so you know they're going to be in different places to cover the middle of the pitch and support the defenders, but also they'll go to wide areas to support the wide players, and they keep everything ticking over. They are incredibly important to how Croatia play. And the odd thing about that is if Croatia's big strong point is in midfield, then Brazil, they don't even really have a midfield. They kind of vacate it. So they play a 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-4, what you might call it, because Neymar's really a forward alongside Richarlison. Then you've got two wide wingers and Rafinha and Vinicius Jr. Paquetá joins them as well in attack. Then what you're essentially left with two different departments. You've got the defensive department of Casemiro, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Danilo and Militao, except Militao comes in a bit. Thiago Silva goes to more like a centre-back in the middle, and Marquinhos goes more to a left centre-back, and Danilo pushes forward, because that means Vinicius Jr. can come inside the pitch and be more of a forward as well. So very, very attacking. That's what they often look like, but they'll be separated like this. If they do that, if they throw players forward, that's what Brazil will look like. And Casemiro will try and win the ball back high up the pitch so that Brazil can keep the other team pinned in. There's lots of nice, tight combinations, lovely stuff. We've seen how Brazil can play. They were excellent when they're able to play. When they're able to play, because that's what happened in this game. Croatia wouldn't let them. I think Brazil started this with less kind of energy and aggression we've seen in other games, especially when they've come out and blown teams away. But there's a real, I think, little secret reason how they managed to keep Brazil quiet throughout the entire match. And it is to do with keeping Vinicius Jr. quiet by stopping Brazil pass out from the back towards him. Now what I mean by that is when Brazil want to play out from the back, like most teams do, they'll have split centre backs like this. Danilo will come over like that, Militao will go a bit wider, and you've got wingers higher up the pitch like this. Now, Croatia were leading with the press with one forward. It's not really a press so much as trying to lead the play. So rather than being in the middle, he would be this side of the play, so that Alisson didn't have the option of going this side of the pitch. Then you've got Pasalic is tight on Danilo here, and Juranovic is a little bit deeper, but he's ready to be next to Vinicius Jr. And what that meant was when Croatia were trying to defend these goal kicks, is basically that Brazil had to always go this side. As soon as the ball went to this side, Kramaric would come over across like this to block the pass back across to this side, and then Brazil would build this way. Perisic might come in, Militao pulls out wide to get it in here, and then they're able to have nice passing movements up this wing here, but it meant that Vinicius Jr. was never really getting the ball unless Brazil managed to win a turnover in this section of the pitch, and then he was able to receive here. You'll see his touch map. He's got all his touches around about this area, when normally you want him to have a bit more of an involvement around here so he can try and help drive Brazil up the pitch. But what you had was not only was they not able to get the ball into Vinicius Jr. on this side, so it changed the way that Brazil want to play. Juranovic had one of the best games he's ever played. I've seen this guy play for Celtic quite a lot. He's decent. He was amazing this game. Had the run of Vinicius Jr. There's one time Vinicius Jr. got in behind him from a turnover in this sort of area, and Juranovic, with about a 10-meter head start, was able to catch up, win the ball back from Vinicius, and that was it. But Brazil obviously have their threats. Like Vinicius Jr. had to go off for Rodrigo. Neymar scored one of the best goals we've seen in the tournament so far, basically 1-2ing his way to the middle of the defence in extra time, because basically Brazil weren't able to play the way they wanted to play, and they were trying to stop Croatia from playing the way they want to play. And Croatia want to pass through the lines, like we said, into midfield, into this area here. And because Brazil were kind of blocking it with this quite passive front four, it meant that sometimes Modric was dropping deeper, which allowed Juranovic to go up higher, which meant that this player here, either Vinicius or Rodrigo, wasn't really involved. And then Modric would help dictate things, pass it slow, they'd build up, and slowly they'd get through this front line of press. They'd drop back, quite passive, into a deeper block, Again, not playing too much pressure. And then when Croatia got to these sorts of positions, Modric's back in position with the midfield around him, but they're not sending too many players forward. They're not trying to leave it space behind, and they're just not able to get a ball in behind because there's no pace. There's no pace in that Croatian team. There's no pace out wide. Perisic maybe, he's all right, but a lot of it is mostly like balls crossed in, hoping someone gets a chance on it. So what you had was two teams largely cancelling each other out. A lot of fun. Brazil missed a lot of chances. Livakovic had a magic game, able to really keep them quiet with some last-ditch 1v1 saves, apart from the Neymar goal. But after that Neymar goal, that's when everything changes, because Brazil, obviously elated that they've scored, halftime comes straight away. Croatia look a bit down, but they're determined to get back into it. They've got that real drive to get back into the game. Brazil, maybe sensing that they're close to victory, they're hugging an awful lot during the break of that halftime thing. Does that change their mentality? We don't know for sure. So what we see in the lead up to this goal is that Brazil are basically trying to score that second goal. They've got a bit excited, lots of substitutes on now. You've got Fred, that's how you say his name really, is on there. You've got Pedro up front now. You've got Anthony, you've got Rodrigo's on as well. But basically about 6 Brazil players chase the ball. It's kind of launched forward. Gvardiol wins a brilliant tackle over around about this area here actually, and then pumps it forward. I think Modric knocks it on, but what you see when the ball is knocked on is that Brazil have about 6 players there. Now what they need to have, probably in this situation, is a bit of safety. Something like this, a back 4, nice and protected by someone like Casemiro, who is the anchor, right there to make sure that they're safe in their rest defence, so that if Croatia were to come and get at them on the counter-attack in the World Cup quarter-final, there's no space to attack. But Casemiro tries to win the ball off Modric around about here. He misses it, and then it goes through to Kovacic, wherever I've put him. He is on the bench by accident. Here he is. So what you get is Kovacic carries it and drives through. Now, this is a big problem. They've got a big gap. As this happens, Brazil are actually in this sort of shape. They're missing their anchor. Kovacic can run with the ball, and he runs from outside to in, which then drags these players into shape. And what you get then is players desperately trying to get back in their positions. They're not quite sure what to do. They're trying to get back. Casemiro's also sprinting back, but you've got 4 Croatian players versus 4 Brazilian defenders. That's the first time Croatia have had anything like an overload. It's not even an overload because it's 4v4. It's less actually, it's 3v4 with a 1 here. Forget the math, doesn't matter. Anyway, Brazil are pulled apart a little bit as they go and chase it, blah, 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 blah. Casemiro's caught trying to get back in. The ball comes out to Petkovic, and that's what you get, is Brazil struggling to get back into their shape. They've been caught up here chasing the game, and all they had to do was stay safe and play it in a more tournament way. Just do it the Southgate way, you know, don't try and be fun, just try and defend. And then Petkovic takes a shot, takes a deflection, that's it. And that's how they got through to the penalty shootouts to then win in the quarterfinal to reach the semi-final of the World Cup. Croatia are in the semi-final, Brazil are gone. What is going on? It's a crazy tournament, a crazy time. And if you enjoyed this analysis, please do subscribe to our channel. That would be wonderful. I would like that very much. What else do I have to say to you? Love Modric, love Gvardiol, Croatia.
If you liked today's video, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like Tifo, we think that you'll also like The Athletic. If you want the best news, features and interviews about the World Cup, the Premier League and European football, as well as loads of other sports, The Athletic is the place for you. And as part of our special deal, you can get it for £1 per month for 6 months. See the link in the description.